There's a great quote that I heard the other day that said that something to the effect of, we have the responsibility to teach students according to tomorrow, not to our today. And I would argue that we are still trying to, in an optimal way, use models that weren't even built for today. We're trying to still use models that were actually built for perhaps 100 years ago. And so when you take a look at the way that jobs are trending, the way that some of the economic trends associated with who does what work, how they do it, etc., we're not setting our students up for success, thinking that you can sit and listen and be kind of passively engaged and do that across 13 years of school, possibly for another 4 in college, and then all of a sudden get into a workspace where you're, where it's very project-based, it's work, with working with others, it's collaborative in nature. Our school systems, our classroom environments have to reflect the work environments and the skills that students will need tomorrow, not today. And I think the current models that we're using are probably backdated, 50 to 100 years. So we're not setting our students up for success, and I think the results show that. I think, to use Dr. Miri's comments, they're steps in the right direction. These are things that we know we need to do for our students, but we also have to be careful in how we're doing them, because we can't just throw everything out, because there are components that are working quite well for large numbers of students today. We have to focus on the components that aren't working well and start there. So I don't think it's a complete shift, because that could be a disaster in 5 years, but I think it is, to use his words, it's a journey of improvement every single year, every single month, every single day going forward. Yeah, so I think this plan actually honors T24 as really a systemic vision for every student. So we each wear a lanyard every single day that has our core values. One of those core values is every child, which begs the question naturally, every child what? Do we want every child to be happy? Sure. Confident? Sure. Proficient? Sure. Do we want them to be growing at their maximum rate? Sure. But how do we measure those things? T24 says that we want to make sure that every child graduates one of our high schools ready to choose between the options of a technical certification, military service, 2 years, 4 years. We want students to graduate with those options, and I think this elevates that piece to say, that's our vision for our students, every single one of them in our district. One of the challenges associated with T24, it's an excellent vision for our school district. It is a 6 years lagging indicator, right? So it comes to fruition 6 years after the student leaves one of our campuses. It gives us the opportunity within this plan to ask the question, what are the purest leading indicators that suggest that a student is on track to become a successful T24 student? There are indicators that can track all the way back to pretty much birth, but by first grade, by second grade, by third grade, by fifth grade, by seventh grade, there are indicators along the way that says whether or not a student is progressing not just to graduate high school, but actually to graduate college. And this gives us an opportunity to rethink how we're measuring T24 to see if we can come up with some more real-time numbers that better inform how we're developing a student towards that outcome, as opposed to having to wait 6 years. We want to be able to say, this student graduated with all of those T24, those 4 doors open, and it's their free will to choose the direction that they would want in life.